In Indonesia, 95% of the population will reach old age without a financial safety net. This leaves 77% of the population forced to keep working until they are physically unable to continue. This gap exists because traditional retirement math is daunting. To generate a modest 10 million rupiah a month using the 4% withdrawal rule, you need a baseline nest egg of 3 billion rupiah sitting in the bank. But 3 billion is a static number that ignores the reality of time. When you factor in a 5% annual inflation rate over a 25-year retirement, that requirement shifts. To maintain that same modest lifestyle, you actually need a mountain of cash totaling 15 to 20 billion rupiah. This impossible scale triggers a psychological shutdown. When young people compare their small monthly savings to a 20 billion rupiah peak, the sheer distance leads them to abandon planning altogether. Our geography has historically discouraged long-term hoarding. In a tropical climate like Indonesia, food and resources grow all year long. We never developed the cultural winter mindset that forces northern populations to stockpile resources just to survive the season. Without a seasonal survival instinct, we leaned on a different safety net, the family. Cultural tradition often treats children as the investment, with the expectation that they will provide total financial support for their parents in old age. This generational trap is now failing. Demographic shifts mean there are fewer young people to support the elderly, while a rise in hyper-independence means many parents no longer want to rely on their children's homes or bank accounts. We are fighting both our environmental history and a collapsing social structure. Because of this, traditional advice to simply save more often falls on deaf ears. Moving forward requires a psychological shift. We have to shrink the target, moving away from the terrifying total and focusing on a single, manageable habit. This is the half-a-shoe strategy, automating micro-investments using highly disposable income normally spent on coffee. The system works because it's invisible. By automatically locking it away before you see the balance, your brain recalibrates your lifestyle to fit the remaining funds. However, this strategy only works if your foundation is clear. You must first eliminate high-interest consumer debt and establish a basic emergency fund to ensure your investments aren't cannibalized by daily crises. Long-term security relies on smart behavioral design. By automating your savings, you remove the need for constant willpower and protect your future from your current spending habits. This shift allows us to replace the idea of a savings vault with something more active, the income engine. The goal is to build assets that eventually pay you a recurring salary. In your 20s and 30s, you focus on accumulative assets. These are higher-risk vehicles like mutual funds and stocks, where the sole objective is to grow your principal as aggressively as possible while you still have time to recover from market volatility. In your 40s and 50s, the engine changes. You begin converting that accumulated growth into generative assets, stable vehicles designed to produce immediate cash flow. This includes instruments like government bonds or SPNs, rental properties, or established businesses that can function with minimal daily oversight. Real security comes from knowing when to stop chasing growth and when to begin a predictable harvest. It's the transition from building the machine to letting the machine support you. There is a final, highly accessible engine, your own personal skills. Intellectual property and specialized expertise are assets you can carry into retirement regardless of market conditions. Transitioning into consulting, writing, or education allows you to stay productive long after you leave the traditional corporate ladder. It turns your experience into a recurring source of income. While cash assets are subject to market shifts, a cultivated skill, like the storytelling used in financial training, provides a recurring floor for your income. It acts as a flexible buffer that traditional savings accounts can't replicate. The motivation for this strategy is the preservation of human dignity. It provides the independence to live on your own terms as you age, without the vulnerability of relying on external help. Missing a vacation in your youth is a minor discomfort. It pales in comparison to the reality of being elderly, exhausted, and entirely out of options. Start the process today by setting up just one automated microtransfer. The amount doesn't matter as much as the habit of moving money out of your reach. That impossible mountain of wealth builds itself over time. You just have to stop staring at the peak and drop the first